Episode 181. We're going to talk about why homes are still selling and the Masters. We're going to get started right now.
Master what? The funny thing about that, though, is that we hung out with Showalter the other day, and Showalter's like, hey, I talked to you guys. And then Nick's like, hey, I talked to you guys. And this will all make sense in a minute, but last Wednesday there was no show because Nick was at the Masters, and Brian and I were mastering the art of drinking.
And you don't remember talking to us?
I believe
I remember.
I believe it was called going to baseball.
I remember that you were called, and I remember that I love doing bits when. So my favorite thing to do is if I'm with you and you're on the phone with somebody I know, I will call that person you're on the phone with.
Guess what? I hung up on Brian and answered your call.
I did the same thing. Yeah, I did the exact same thing.
You guys are jerks.
Yeah. I was like, hey, I got
an emergency.
I'd be like, look, I have another call. It's more important.
I just think it's funny. Like, I don't know what it is, but it's just funny to be sitting next to somebody and then being like, oh, wait, Kelderman's calling. I'd be like, Kelderman's calling you? He's sitting right next to me. And then I'm just sitting there grinning like a freaking idiot.
Yeah.
We met for breakfast the next day to start watching the Masters with Jesse, and I was just like laughing. I was like, this is such a fun night. I don't remember a lot of it. And I was like, how did we get back to your place? He's like, you don't remember, you canceled the Uber. I was like, why did I cancel an Uber? He's like, and then there was a cab. I was like, we took a cab? Like all this stuff that I was
there was a cab.
I was not even
$100 cab.
The Rangers won, and we got to see a home run.
Yep, we did.
I saw four hole-in-ones.
You saw 4 hole-in-ones at the par 3?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
I was sitting between 8 and 9. Had perfect shots of both of the holes and watched all 4. There was 5 hole-in-ones total. Bubba had one.
Bubba had one?
Yep, Bubba had one on,
He's
I
living
think,
the best
5.
life.
But look, before we get started and we talk Masters.
Can I tell you my hole-in-one story before we get started?
Sure.
This is my hole-in-one.
You're probably gonna.
Please tell me.
Anyway, you just reminded me of this. I have one hole-in-one story. I've seen one hole-in-one in person in my life.
Nick saw 4 on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I did, but
How
he
does
didn't
that
win
make you
anything, and we did. If you're ever going to hit a hole-in-one, you need to do it during a charity tournament when you win something. My dad and I played in the Pilots Union tournament that they do every year at Bear Creek out here in Grapevine. I was 21 years old. It's pouring rain. He hits a freaking 3-wood into a very long par 3. We don't even see it. We're joking around like it might be in the hole, and it is. It's in the hole. We win a free trip to Hawaii. It is bananas. So like 6 months later, my dad and I go to Hawaii, and we kind of procrastinate because you got to use it within like 6 months. Yeah. And he's busy. He's a pilot, so he's got all sorts of stuff. Draper, you're a liar. But I do want to hear that story.
Oh, for sure.
But we're kind of back up against it. So like literally 2 weeks out, he's like, hey, we got to go to Hawaii like next week. And so I was like, all right, book it. I'm in college. I don't care. I have very little responsibility. But he and my mom were doing, what's the...
75 hard.
It was basically 75,
P90X.
but they were doing the diet, like a hardcore diet. They were like on a hardcore
Jane Fonda's
diet.
jazzercise.
Yes, basically something like that. So he's up against it, but he can't break his diet. So we go to Hawaii for like 4 days, play like 3 rounds of golf. It's amazing. Everything's paid for. I'm having fun, drinking Mai Tais, all that stuff. My dad can only eat like tomatoes that he brought in his own Ziploc bag. I'm like sitting there drinking pineapple Malibu, enjoying Hawaii on the beach. He's eating like dumb raw green apples like a goofball. He can't enjoy anything at all.
I actually, the thing is, I don't know him well, and you're his son, so I don't pretend to know more. But I feel like if there's anybody on this planet who would be fine just eating tomatoes on the beach, it would be Diesel.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, look, I respect the discipline, and he's a pilot, so I want my pilot to be so disciplined.
That's true.
That he's not gonna break.
Very few people that are more like committed to whatever they have decided is the thing than him.
Look, he's committed, and if you go back to listen to episode,
I love that, Draper.
What is this one? This one's 181. So
Sure.
I think
This is episode
178.
I would just
181.
guess on the numbers.
I think old Tom Force was on 178, 179, and he shares his tax strategies. And I'm going to tell you right now,
dude,
I had someone reach out to me today. Was like, hey, who was the guy that you had on there? What's the tax company that you recommend? Jesse almost won closest to the pin last week at the DFW Angels charity.
DFW Angels charity.
Look, let's get started with the show.
I did it for the kids.
Yeah, we do. Jesse always does it for the kids.
Everything I do.
Yes. So, I can't even roll into sponsors with that.
Are we going to delete this one?
No.
MortgageMikeOfTexas.com for all of your mortgage or Texas and Oklahoma mortgage needs. Tots Michael DeBacker. Get that stamp of approval. I almost said hard stamp of approval, but that was wrong. You need hard shell protection from Armadillo Home Warranty. Go to armadillo.com. Sorry, .1. Stupid.
Wow.
.1.
It's been like a month off.
Well, it's not a real website. Armadillo.1
/tour.
/tour. The only .1 on the internet. Thank you, Theron Smith, for your one-page contract. And then check out Homeward Property Management. Well, they'll do your units for... That would have got me killed.
Do you think do you think Brian just practices the sponsors? Because he doesn't really do the sponsorship on this. And
No,
he
because
goes in the mirror, he's like, Homeward Property Management.
Here's what I think happened. So, like, I had the opportunity to take the stage with Wayne Salmons and Hero Nation
Yes.
like a week and a half ago, and like, dude, tons of friends of the show were there, dude. Like, first when you get Zach Johnson on here, he's mad energy,
monster
all the time, like super cool. But Chasten, one of the originals, Chauncey, who was our last show before the pandemic, like they were all speaking there. I will say, first off, it was really awesome because as somebody who talks a lot for a living, like, I was ill prepared for what a 5-minute scheduled talk looks like. That's incredibly hard. So it was like, dude, the way Wayne walked through it and watched some of these professionals like do what they do was super awesome. And I say that to say what you guys were just talking about. I think you two have a natural ability, whether it's through the way that you learn and your mind absorbs information, in the books that you read, that just teach you to do things that seem really social in a very technical way, right? Like, you guys both just talk like you're just the most social dudes, but I know both of you enough to know that you would probably prefer not to talk to anybody. But like, at the same time, I'm probably the more gregarious one of the group and would also absolutely eat a shit sandwich trying to do the spots because I'm all over the place, right? Like, I think it's this weird thing between like your planned ability and your intellectual ability to be a person for a short period of time that allows you to be able to rip those off, because I couldn't do it.
Look, I will take that as the best compliment we've received.
I mean it as a compliment. I hope so. I mean it as one.
I mean, because after the show, I'm going home, not talking to anybody.
I believe that.
Probably
Are you going to come play pickleball tonight?
No,
What?
no.
Fine. I'm playing right near your house.
Call of Duty.
All right, I'll play Call of Duty.
All right, let's talk about why homes are still selling.
Why are they selling?
Right? So, I mean, look, the CPI report came out today, right? So I'll have Brian really digest that one, because that one really, Mortgage Mike was on our team meeting call yesterday. He brings up the CPI report. He starts talking about inflation. He starts talking about how it's going to affect interest rates. And I'm going to tell you right now, you can even feel it, because we do our team meetings on Zoom. You can feel the just boredom just sink in immediately.
Is that because of the topic or the presenter?
We'll have to test that out.
Well, see if he's watching.
Yeah, we'll have to test that out.
If you're watching, you just took that.
But one of the things that I look at and really geek out on was, at least here in the North Texas area, is that we see. Look, on Facebook, you see everyone talking about, multiple offers are back, inventory levels are down, and everything else like that, and they're just screaming from the rooftops like that we're back into the 2020, 2021 market. Yeah. And
bullshit. I wish agents wouldn't go that far.
Thank you.
It's so stupid.
What are they saying? Multiple offers are back. I just sold this for 135% more than asking price.
It's at a very specific price point on a very specific product, which is the front. Because I'll tell you,
in a very specific neighborhood.
I actually struggled with this, because I had this conversation today with a client who I sold him a house about 22 months ago or so. It hasn't even been 2 years. He's thinking about selling it, which he probably could and should. And then he's came into some money, so he wants to turn it into something else, right? And we're having a conversation this morning. He's like, dude, actually, I think I'm going to hang out for 6 to 12 months, because I just don't really know what's going on out there. And I found myself stumped by that conversation, because to me it seems so obvious, right? Like, you've owned this house for less than 2 years. You could probably get 19% on it. Yeah. Right? And you didn't touch it at all. Nope. It's an amazing investor property. And you are now coming into some excess funds that are consistent and monthly, to where we can upgrade your housing situation. Or let's say you don't have to sell that place. You could just hang on to it as a rental. Yep. And we're now back in the conversation of, I want to sell this when it's hot and buy when it's dead again. And I'm like, God damn it. I am so tired of having this completely improbable events conversation, and I thought we were away from it, and now dumb agents are ripping us back into it.
Well, whether it's the client side or the consumer side or whatever, I think if there's anything the last 3 years have taught us, if we didn't already know this lesson, if you think you're able to time the market, you're wrong. Yep. You're not David Bowie from the Labyrinth. No one's that smart. Like, it's just
Is that
you
a singer?
It's weird.
I don't even know if he was like a genius in that movie. I just remember him
it's a
as like
movie.
some. What?
Never seen it.
Nick.
I'm currently watching all the Planet of the Apes, but that's a different show.
The originals or the Mark Wahlberg
All
one?
of them.
Yes.
Oh,
And I will tell you.
reimaginings, everything.
Okay, so you watch it's like Star Wars. You watch the new ones and then the old ones.
Yep.
You watch the new ones, visually stimulating. First old one, cool. It's what everybody knows about.
Yep.
Go watch the second old. So much cocaine was being used in 1969 when they were filming that
just
movie.
making stuff
It
up.
is just insane.
But no, regardless, like realtors do this and our clients do this. I think you've got enough knowledge now after the 3 years to understand that you should have to have stronger conversations to be the economist of choice for your clients. You cannot time the market. The right time to move is when it's right for you, right? It's funny that we do this thing as realtors, though, which has always cracked me up. We really promote things that we've done that are like super based on supply and demand as if it was us, but we don't do it when it really was us. And what I mean by that, are you making fun of my hand motions?
No.
I'm doing Obama
No,
stuff.
he pops up over.
We do. Like when the market gets really tight and supply is low, which is like multiple offers, we do what Nick just said. We're like, sold it 135% of list price. Like we were the ones that did it. But when like, if there was a huge deep recession and nobody wanted to buy houses, we probably wouldn't talk about it at all.
Yeah.
It's almost like being like, I just scored a goal. There was no goalie. I'm amazing.
Bro,
It's like-
I think that you may have accidentally just stumbled into what my irritation actually is about
is
it.
what
It's,
it
it's
is.
not the idea around the marketing, right? Like I'm a real estate agent. I understand you got to sell the
Yeah.
sell the wins or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just everybody went dark in like
a while.
July.
Yes.
Yeah.
And was just and not even and if you didn't go dark, if you're just one of those people who just need to post stuff, then you were going the exact opposite direction.
like
Crash.
posting
and
wrong
now,
math.
and now
Look at my
because
family.
and now because we've hit the spring market that we've hit every year in my 11 years of existence in real estate, all of a sudden it's all this is happening again, all this other stuff, and I think
We
honestly,
did it.
I'm more frustrated with you real estate agents for not understanding that you've been in a weird market for a couple of years and you're just back in a spring market.
So this is interesting. So this is, you can go to Keeping Current Matters on this, and this is the average number of offers received on the most recent closed sale.
That's nationally.
That's nationally,
Nationally.
right? So what do you think it ended in February?
National's so hard for me.
3.
Okay, so
I
the
would-
amount of
I would say
offers per
1.8.
closed sale.
Average
yeah,
number
it's not
of
even
offers
it's-
received.
1.8.
I'm going to go 1.3.
2.7.
Oh, geez.
Fuck.
Which is
That's way
which,
higher than I thought.
which is up. But if
Three.
we go back to
It's not a
December,
price point or anything, though.
if we go back, this is just, you just take everything as a whole.
Generic.
So the last
That's
time,
high nationally though.
You,
That's
you
really
know,
high.
That's
here's
very
no, it's not, because
no. Here's
not.
here's why I think this is bullshit. I'm actually called bullshit on this because I sell real estate. You guys sell real estate. How many nationally ran websites have you went to and entered in the amount of offers your listings got? How could they possibly know this number?
There is.
This is
there
bullshit.
that is fair.
it
Is there
doesn't
a
say how
source?
many. It doesn't. Well, it says NAR as the source.
Yeah, but NAR can't be agents. Every agent who's listening to this,
Well-
do any of you? Where would this information?
I would
come
ask
from?
what
it's
is
true.
the
How is
what
it possible?
I
there's-
don't know.
I would just ask. I don't know if it's possible. I would ask what is the association between every local board and NAR. But they also wouldn't know.
How would they do? Look,
No,
they,
they wouldn't
They
know.
send
They
surveys.
do handwritten offers.
They do
There's-
surveys.
Look, it's like any.
I get
Look,
it.
Generic
So
surveys.
they're doing surveys,
I
right?
get it.
So
We
they're
take
doing a
the
survey.
dumbness and all
so
of
if you
that,
look
but I
at
don't
December
buy that one
2007,
bit.
yeah.
2.7 offers per listing.
Hold on.
You guys
Hey,
know that COVID probably came from a lab.
December 2017, we were under. It doesn't say what it is. It was above 1.5, but under 2, right? So let's call it 1.7,
December 17th.
right? December of 2017. Then we go into January of 18. We're over 2. It goes to above 2.5, and
18,
this is
really?
all in 18. Then we get into
Okay, so if it does say middle of 18 was 2.5 and now it's 2.7, I will buy that data more because that
That
makes
is
sense.
still more relevant.
That
Or like,
sounds- it
feels
feels
it's
like
more
2018 right
parallel,
now.
Yeah.
Yep. So we get into 2020. It goes over 2.5, and then it goes up to we peak to what is
If it's
this?
not like
we peaked
7, then
to
I don't
over
know.
5.
Okay,
No,
okay.
No, we peaked to hold on.
Over
We
5.
5.5. We had 5.5.
Then I buy
offers.
2.7. Then I'll buy 2.7.
5.5
if
offers.
it's relative that way. Okay.
So and that peaked in what is that? April, May of 2022.
Okay.
It was
Sounds
averaging
about right.
5.5
Yeah.
offers
Yeah, it
per
would've been.
listing.
Still
Right.
good.
So now we're at 2.7, which is we're on the upswing back up.
Yep.
But again, we are going into the spring selling season because what we've seen in Netris is that in our MLS is that one, inventory levels have gone back up.
Yep.
Right. We bottomed out. We were still going down. That was always the concern. Interest rates going up and buyer demand goes down. We didn't see inventory levels truly spike. What did we see? We saw homeowners take their home off the market.
That's really
Yeah,
what
that's
it was.
true.
So the other concern was, and this was what Mortgage Mike was always calling, he's like, I'm really concerned right now is that as homeowners are taking their home off the market, they're waiting because their response is, I'm going to wait for a better time to sell.
Yeah.
Even though we just exited from the best real estate market we've ever seen in our lifetime, they're going to wait for a better time. That's a whole different story. And so they're now pulling their homes off the market. Buyer demand's going down, but there's still demand there. And so ultimately what's going to happen is that there's going to be not enough homes for sale. That buyer demand, even though it's lessened, is still going to be enough to cause multiple offers, and we still start to see prices continue to go back up.
Interesting, though. I think you're right, and and this is why I'm a little baffled because I do our Monday market calls every week, and I look at the stats on the trailing 7 days for closed sales, at least locally here in North Texas. I look at our 5 counties: Collin, Denton, Tarrant, Rockwall, and Dallas. We're basically right on par as far as closed and pending sales with the same time or this same month last year. I was the one, even on this podcast a year ago, talking about how the music might stop and it wasn't going to be a crash. I was like, the worst thing that can happen is prices and rates both get so high that sellers are too scared to sell and buyers are too scared to buy, and just no one does anything and we just freeze. And it feels like the ingredients were there for that for a while. And maybe for about 3 months that did happen. But we're not seeing that as much right now.
No, but
We're seeing a lot of transactional volume, and I'm not judging it. I'm glad that in the industry that we've chosen to work, things are happening. It feels like I should have been right and I was wrong.
I think this is
Because I definitely was wrong.
Thank you, Maddie. Thank you
Scotland.
for pointing that out.
Wow.
Were you wrong, or was it? And this is a legitimate question because I think these are kind of some of the things that I struggle to tie together. So I imagine other agents struggle to tie this together. Like, were you wrong? Because like our team, for instance, units wise, we're kind of on par with where we were last year.
What about equal?
Sales price wise, though, we ain't sniffing.
I don't know what you
year,
guys
right?
are seeing.
we're
but
up.
You're
You're
up.
up.
Yeah.
Our average sales
Oh,
price is down.
I have to look at it. Like I can tell you right now. I mean, I think we're right around the same. We'll probably start to trail downwards. Let me see. I can pull it up right now. But I'll tell you right now, our closed volume, we're up on everything right now. So GCI's up. We're up on closed volume. We're up on listings taken. We're up on buyer deals. And so, I mean, you're right. I think ultimately, you know what? Everyone on Facebook that's been calling for this and saying that 2020 is back, like they're probably right.
Have you measured your biceps lately? Are those up too? You just want to throw that on there?
The who?
You have the wrong Gantt,
I think
23
like
inch
28
biceps.
now.
I mean, what?
They went from 27 and a half.
That's
But even inside our organization,
Average
like,
sales price is 403. We've been staying on par.
okay.
that's good.
Okay.
That's really good.
And so, like, I would love anybody who actually tracks these metrics at a high level, especially team leaders, to drop in some of those numbers just for us to understand too. Because being inside an organization, right? Like you guys are inside a massive organization now, right? Like we're inside a huge organization. I still see like every month we all challenge each other. We get down, like this is one of those things we get down on, like where we're at and what the numbers are. And we're
there's
looking
competition.
up, and then you look based off a national size organization like Living Your Place. It's like we're still 1 and 2, right? Like it feels like it's all falling apart to never be able to be fixed again. And maybe this conversation is going to shift to a lot of the team leaders because
Yeah.
we're going to talk about the scariness of leadership. But
This
like,
is what we do
it's
to
just
ourselves.
not though. Like it's
I
like
think-
you're still killing it out there.
I think it's like in anything, and this is where I mean I shared about the anxiety, right? So we start. What sells on Facebook? What are the most comments, right?
What sells everywhere is fear.
So fear, right?
Yeah.
So we can easily, and I did this last night. And Brian and I were texting about this huge investor, this syndicator that got foreclosed on, and I immediately go into a fear like, man, could that happen to us? Like, are we immediately going to foreclosure? And so you start reading all this negative stuff, and you start buying into it, and you start to think that it's going to happen to you or that you're in that. And
You always think the more shitty stuff is going to happen to you than the
Do you just know what it takes?
You
for
let the positive stuff pass you right by, and you think the shitty stuff is going to happen to you.
Like, look, I never want to tempt fate or anything, but let's just take this back to the human experience for a moment. Do you know what it takes for everything to fall apart tomorrow? Mm-hmm. A catastrophe that you can't possibly prepare for, right? Like you couldn't possibly.
Correct.
Right?
Let's be clear that we survived through the biggest catastrophe that we've seen in our modern lives in 2020, and
but a lot of people were propped up on government
and
money,
they shouldn't be. And look, and complacency. We were talking about this earlier at lunch. Complacency is the biggest thing. Do not become complacent. I'm not an advocate for any of that, but I will also say I'm also not an advocate for like over freaking catastrophizing things. That's not even a fucking word.
No, it is.
now.
But like,
Charlie will tell you it is.
yeah, but I mean, but to that point, it's there is a fine line between both. You can be like, hey, it's all gonna work out, bro, and you can also be like, everything's gonna blow up tomorrow, and you're both wrong.
But I will say, and you're 100% correct, what I would say is that usually if you're buying into the negativity spin and you start to go research more
you
negative
dive
items,
deeper on that.
you go so
Yeah, for
deep on
sure.
it that what ends up happening is that you start contradicting the right moves.
There's an
and you
abundance
take,
of stories around that
yes,
negativity,
right? So you start to, like, if you go back and try to reanalyze, like, what went wrong? How did I step on this landmine? You're like,
Right.
well, I went down this path because I was reading all of this negative stuff. So I try to counteract it, even though it wasn't there.
Yeah.
I try to make some changes in my business and my programs that didn't need to be changed.
Break it apart though, and think about the thing that failed that led you to be at the place where you met Heather. Right, and this is where when it breaks, it's awesome, right? Like, divorce sucks, and like being divorced allows you to be in the place where you meet the next person, right? Like an agent leaving you sucks. And then maybe you went out to some place to like have a drink because you were bummed about it and met the other person, right? Like it
Met
sounds
the agent of your dream.
it sounds super cliche, but like this is really what it is. Like all of that stuff usually leads to like some other cool thing, even in our businesses, right? Like I don't mind peeling the onion back a little bit. Sure. It's tough right now from a leadership and team perspective. It's tough from a growth perspective right now. Everybody is struggling, and everybody is questioning value to the people above them. Regardless of whoever you are, everybody's looking at the person above them being like, hey, what are you doing for me? Because I don't know how to do this next thing, right? So like understand whether you're an agent, a team leader, whatever, everybody's doing that. This is a really easy time to get super down on yourself, your business, that, hey, I don't know if what I'm doing is right, which is exactly what you guys are talking about. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe it changed so much that my dumb ass can't figure it out and chase along. And all I'm saying is it doesn't fall apart in a day.
You're right.
Don't sit on your hands, but also if your fear is that it's going to crumble around you in the next 24 hours, you will manifest your own fucking future.
But what do people do? They move away from pain and they move towards pleasure.
Sure.
And so that anxiety is painful. I mean, that fear of everything's falling and the sky is falling and everything's falling apart and you can't get control of it. It feels like you're just in a tailspin, right? And when you're in those moments, I get it. I mean, all logic just leaves, right?
Oh, dude, I had one of those moments earlier today. Like that guy I was telling you about that was like deciding he wasn't going to list. It was like kind of three people who seemed pretty solid. It's like you look at all three of them, you're like, one of these is going to list. All three of them, one people that have such wicked foundation issues, they probably shouldn't. My advice was them was to don't list. This dude's kind of in his head about the market, right? The other guy, it was a slam dunk referral from another agent who he was like, we went to his house. It was too easy. I sent him the referral paperwork, and his wife's like, we're not paying full commission. Right? So like all of a sudden, 3 listings that I was like, definitely a couple of these are coming through. All 3 of them are now super suspect. Yeah. Right? Like I'm having that day today.
Yeah. Yeah. And usually, look, it revolves around like if you're spending a lot or you don't have control over something, right? So and look, that's tough. And to go why homes are still selling, that they're still selling because buyers aren't buying the interest rate thing crap too long. They know a lot of people. I just put a home under contract. I have a past client who's bought. I think I've sold like 10 houses with him. So he called me up last week when I was going to the Masters and was like, hey, I'm interested in this house. I thought it was for a flip. And little drop there for you, Jesse and Brian.
I was dropped.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to Wet n Wild.
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
I was going to the
Wet n Wild's still
Master.
open.
No, I hoped you guys would get that.
And so he called me up, and he normally pays cash. He's not in a cash position right now. And he's like, look, this is a house in my neighborhood. I really want it. Actually, his wife really wants it. And he said their current house is 2-story. This one's a 1-story. For as for them getting older, it makes more sense. He doesn't care much about the rate, because he's going to eventually pay it off a lot faster. And so, like, there's people in this situation. There's plenty of them out there. We just have to go search for it. We've got to go create those opportunities. And just like what we said, Brian and I, and even you were mentioning, is like it's not going to fall apart overnight.
No.
So if you can get into that logic mindset and don't let the emotions take control, which is really hard during that time, I'll tell you that. I've been waking up at 4:45 every morning, and I'm like, well, there goes the business.
And I think
it's gone.
I think the beautiful thing is we can do that, but like the next part that I want you to share is what happens by 5:15 a.m. that makes you get up and still go, because
kids and coffee.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Like that could be it on a Wednesday. There's
and
nothing
scratch
wrong with
offs.
that.
That's fair.
Kids and coffee. Like it just. I mean, look, because it's not real.
Don't forget
It's
about
not real.
scratch offs.
That's
It's
it.
not
It's
real.
Not real.
Here's how you know it's not real. We do this thing where we try to analyze what's going on with the market all the time, and I'm the worst about it. I enjoy these things because it's kind of a passion of mine. I like to know how things kind of work. The world is a game, and I like to try and figure out how stuff is going. I don't, rather than watching Yellowstone, I watch CNBC, and it's still my soap opera. I know it's bullshit, right? But it's a fun thing for me, right? But we drive ourselves crazy thinking that we know what's going to happen, or thinking that we know more, or like it's going to serve us in some way. Do you know why the market is still moving forward? Because people still need houses. And because most people in America don't stay up at night just Googling economic indicators and housing market and diving deep and driving themselves crazy about all that type of stuff, right? Like, they just move forward. And yes, the laws of macroeconomics do exist, and they do cause, ebbs and flows and things like that. But over time, things are relatively smooth over an extended period, right? We live in every single moment, and we drive ourselves crazy about it. The reality is our customers, our bosses, right, the people we serve, they don't scrutinize things the way that we do, so they don't give themselves anxiety. They don't freak out about it the way that we do. We're mesmerized that people who don't care as much about this shit as we do don't care as much about this shit as we do, and we're like driving ourselves crazy. Like, why is it still good? Why is it bad now? Why is it happening this way? Or like, no one else is thinking that, and then we're sitting here trying to make moves and simultaneously driving ourselves crazy, when the reality is, if we just went to work every day, did the same shit consistently over time, we're all good at what we do, we provide a lot of value, all this shit happens into space. And I actually say this as tactical advice. If you're driving yourself crazy about what you do or do not know about the market right now, that's probably your biggest blind spot. You'll never know. You'll never be able to time it. I was wrong before about my predictions. I'm learning that now. The best gift you can give yourself is to just show up consistently and do your thing in all environments. And I promise you, over the long term, it will work out. Stop worrying about being smarter than everybody from an economic standpoint. It doesn't mean shit in the end. All of this is a goddamn video game.
Well, by the way, that house that my client made an offer and got it, right? We lowballed it. So I left that part out. Mm-hmm. Right? So we lowballed it.
Hey.
They said no.
Oh.
And we waited for a week, and I'm talking with the agent. I said, hey, Miss Agent, let me know if you get any offers.
Agent.
Right? And I'm waiting. I get back in town from the Masters, by the way, Brian. I get back in town. And we go through the weekend, and on Monday, so this past week on Monday, my client reaches out, is like, hey, any update? I'm like, I've been talking to her pretty much every day except for Easter Sunday.
Was that after you got back from the Masters?
That was after I got back.
That was
Everything's
a few days
this
after
is
the
post,
Masters,
a
right?
few days after.
Where were you again?
Yeah.
Post Masters.
Oh,
Okay.
Masters.
Okay.
Just reflecting in all the swag I got.
Yeah.
And I call her, and she's like, we're about to execute a contract. And I'm like, whoa, Miss Agent. Like,
Wait.
I've been calling you every day. I felt like we have a relationship here. Right? I know we're a little low, but I thought we were on the same page. And luckily I was able to get it, and we as close as full price as we possibly could, and got it done. So the 2.7, there was 2 offers on that property.
Hey.
Dang.
So I mean, it's
Kinda right in line.
the average are kind of
It doesn't mean that, that's actually true.
yeah.
but sometimes it happens that way.
Yeah. And how many offers do we get on properties that are low balls, and then you get another one that are still
How much is Open Door affecting this?
Whoa.
Yeah, technically.
And that's a whole other tactical conversation. I've been having a lot of conversations with like brand new, not like just got their license, just took their test agents, and I've decided that my approach in the conversation I'm going to have is solely about like what value are you getting?
Yeah.
Because there's a difference between flat fee brokerages, traditional brokerages like Keller Williams and EXP, right? Everybody don't want to say they're traditional. I'm just saying the traditional like capping model brokerages,
Right.
and then teams and the value they provide, right? And what I'm finding is like the deeper I get in these conversations, the more I'm having an understanding of what specific values are, right? Like discounting commissions, for instance, right? You're having this conversation with this agent about how hard you're working really hard to continue to have conversations with this agent to keep your client in front of them. Right. Most agents who are listening to this and most agents who do this job are submitting an offer, making a phone call, and then it goes where it goes. Yeah. And some other offer comes there like, oh, it must have been better than mine, whatever, right? Yeah. They're not tracking that down at all. That is the skill and nuance stuff that comes along with just being in the right world, in the right environment. It's what keeps you alive in a real estate market like this. It's the type of thing that keeps everything moving forward in your business when you don't know what to do. Because I'll tell you, right, like if you're a real estate agent and you don't understand the actual power in what Nick just said, like maybe I'm the shittiest real estate agent in the world, but I will bet you most people listening to this did not continue following up on their low ball offer. And then when they got another offer, got back in front of that agent and still made a case for their client.
Look, I knew my client wanted this house.
Exactly.
Right? He didn't. Like, when he called me, it was like, look, my wife really wants it. And I'm like, all right, man. Like, you're a house flipper. I understand why you came in at this number. Like I will tell you right now, I've lost
Even
out.
my advice as a seasoned agent would have been you need to come stronger, right? Like, I still probably wouldn't have taken it to fruition. You and Brad Johnson, to shout out to people who do this for a living as, like, hardcore lead generation, but also, like understand the flipping side of things. You guys do this at a really, really. I've done deals with him, and I imagine it'd be the same as doing a deal with you. It's just about getting what your client wants.
Yeah.
But so many agents get all their other shit in the middle of it.
No, like I told him, like I had the conversation. I said, I understand how we came up with our initial offer. I agreed with him, but the homeowners were not desperate. They have enough. The house is paid for. They have enough. They're moving into another house. They don't care if this one sits vacant. Really,
yeah. It's
not that big of a deal. And so, my suggestion was, look, if you're not willing to come up to a much more manageable price in their mind, let's just follow up with them every day. And what I did not want to do, which if this agent would have gone with the other offer, it would have seemed like I wasn't following through with my end. So I'm thankful that it worked out in our favor. But I made that commitment. And number one, we should do this with all our clients. But he's sold like 10 properties with me. So ultimately, I wanted to build this relationship with her. The agent was cool enough to keep entertaining me, right? Because how many times would an agent who's going to call you every day and text you and say, "Hey, do you have any offers yet on that one?"
Yeah,
are you going to respond back?
You've been the listing agent on
Yes.
that. Like, no, I'm probably not. And like I said, it does take all of those parties involved. It's just, dude, that's like professional level shit.
And for her clients,
On everybody's part.
her clients, now she's able to say she got multiple offers.
Yep.
And she got them a higher price.
Mm-hmm.
So ultimately, it worked out for her and her client's favor. For my client, look, could he maybe have gotten a little bit cheaper? Sure. But I'm going to tell you right now, like I told him, I said, happy wife, happy life on that one. And you're not buying this as a flip to turn around. You said you're keeping this one until you die.
Yep.
And I believe that ultimately that's his game plan because he owns 20, 30 other houses.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got to analyze the situation in it and say, like, this dude's legit or this client's legit. And we made the original offer. I followed up with her and then ultimately got deep enough to know with him to say, look, it's really the wife that's driving it and she really wants it. And, like, the text message conversation I had with him over the weekend was like, look, unfortunately, you're going to have to pay as close, if not full asking price.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, well, let's wait till after the weekend and everything else.
I like this conversation because this is the thing that if you've only been in real estate a couple of years or even just kind of forgot what it used to be like, this is kind of how it used to feel. Like this is what like great conversations with your clients sound like. It almost feels a little bit alien hearing somebody like talk to the other agent on the other side with any, not respect, but just like that we think we're going to be able to solve something here.
We're trying to do something.
Yeah,
It's
we're
not me
trying to
against
do
you.
something.
Yeah.
And I hope that's kind of what starts to come out of all of this, is that we get back to a space where like the skill level and all of that is what's really get our clients' houses, right? Because that other offer was probably close to, if not higher than yours, at least initially.
Initially, it was, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you don't even need to be the buyer side begging for the deal on that. Like, as a listing agent, I hope you hear how like that worked out for everybody's clients, and it's been such an easy market. And I'm fucking glad stuff like this is happening again.
Yeah. Look, remember, our job is to broker a transaction, right? And I think too many times a buyer's agent comes in and just wants to kick teeth in, and then the listing agent wants to do the same thing back. And they're like, this isn't our house. We're not the one living there.
Yep.
We're not the one making the payment. We're not the one netting the money on the sale. Like, our job is to represent our clients in the best fiduciary way, but it's at the same time is to broker a transaction with another broker.
There's always been that one line
Right?
that I've always loved and hated hearing in negotiation, and it's I don't think they'll go for it, but I'll talk to them.
Yes.
I'm like,
and then they go for it every
yeah,
time.
but just do it anyway.
Yes.
because it's also not your asset.
If you find yourself as an agent ever speaking for your client in an emotional way, you're out of bounds. Like you just 100%.
It's not worded exactly how I said it. It's more emotional, but like, you know what I'm talking about. Like, the agent's negotiating on their own behalf for their deal rather than negotiating on the client's
And
behalf.
look, you can go in the background and get some permissions to do some certain things in those conversations.
Yeah.
I understand that, but like,
But that's actually still doing it ahead of time.
Yes.
When you're just like, I don't think it's going to work. And you're like, but it's not even your,
I don't think they're going to go for
it's
it.
not even your thing.
Well, let's just, look, dude, let's just think about like what that really means about your mindset around it. Like, how are you going to take this information back to your clients if you already have a negative mindset about it? It tells me like, and it should
You're
tell
gonna
you,
present it in a
it should
really
tell
negative
you
way.
a lot about yourself. If that's what you're saying, is you are not taking the information back to a client in an unbiased manner if your response as a fiduciary and a fiduciary alone is, I don't think they're going to go for it. You have already crossed the line into emotions where your ass does not need to be.
How many deals do you think don't happen because of ego?
Oh, dude.
Oh my God.
Agents, and here's the thing is, this is what people don't want to talk about. This is like an agent-focused show, but I also understand this is out for the public. Like, you do have a large ability to influence certain clients around certain things. Yep. And that level of, and I'll peel the onion back. The same thing that makes you a that can be used for good, like your ability to show somebody the right way to buy a house.
Right.
You could use that information for evil just as much as you want.
Sure.
And that's what Nick was talking about with his guy was, hey, dude, I understand we do a lot of these types of deals. This isn't one of those deals.
Right.
Right? Like, get your head on straight. Do this deal properly. That was Nick using the information he had for good, right? Now, had this been a raw deal for that guy, but Nick knew he had influence over him and walked that dude down the same path on a deal where he was overpaying by $300,000 just so he could get a paycheck, he would be an asshole.
gone the same
But
way.
his influence is the exact same either way.
That is super true.
I mean, look, with him, it was more so like, look, I'm sorry, like, if we were flipping this, then I would say that we're not buying it, right?
Yes.
I would recommend to pass because you're definitely not going to make money on it, but you're living in it. And you said that, and I asked the question. I said, look, your plan is to die here, right? And you're older, so like, let's make this your
I don't know
kid's
if it's your
problem.
plan, but you just accept it.
Yes. Let's make it your kid's problem.
Yep.
There we go.
And so ultimately, what we need to do on this one is like, look, it sucks because as an investor like I am, I will tell you, Heather will tell me multiple times a month.
You guys are in the house you're in because you can't get a deal on a new house, right?
Thanks a lot. Thanks. And
You're welcome, heater.
yeah,
By the way, me
and
too.
I have missed out on two houses, two in particular, because I drug my feet. I was stubborn on it. And guess what? Those houses that I said weren't deals. One house I could have got for $615 is now worth probably 1.1 to 1.2.
Yeah,
I know, but that was 2019.
Okay.
No, I know. I'm
Yeah.
just saying that's not on you.
No, I'm just saying. And the other one was during COVID, or actually, it was in December 21.
Yeah.
December 21, I could have got a property for $910, and it's worth 1.2, 1.3 right now.
So no one knows anything.
So like what this comes down with is like, look, when even on your homestead as an investor, like just don't be dumb and let the ego get in the way, which I've been dumb on those two.
I have to. I got beat up by 50 grand a few weeks ago, and I was so stubborn.
Dang it.
Like
We could be having a house party right
we
now.
could be having a house
could.
party. I love having people over. But I only have 4 chairs.
I just like the
No
invite.
place.
I don't like to go. I just want the invite.
You do. You never. You've
It's funny though because
guys. Do you? Has Nick ever been to my place?
Yeah.
You know what's funny?
No, he hasn't.
Yes,
You know
I
what's
have.
funny
I've never
is-
been. I've been. Well, you were drunk.
No.
Your birthday.
He has been to the pool.
To the pool.
No.
Nick is never.
I've come into the house. I've pet the dogs.
it's a kitchen, a living room, and a bedroom.
Yeah.
So-
I've been there like
All right.
3 times.
All right, that's during the birthday though.
Birthday. Then there was one when we went to.
It was probably because he had to.
You had to use the restroom.
When we
Yeah.
drove together to go to the golf tournament.
Okay, that's
Um,
he
and there
picked
were-
me up one time. Is
Yes.
what he's saying.
It did,
Yes.
yeah.
And then there's
Speaking
one
of
other
outside.
time. There's one other time.
So
I
he
come
was
to
in the
your
parking
house all the
garage.
time.
It's funny though because like, you go to Nick's house and you like we get this version of Nick. Camera on Nick real quick, right? We get this version of Nick,
I've-
right?
I've never
Yeah, this
been
how
to
Nick
Nick's
looks.
house.
This how Nick looks as
I've
like
also,
a person.
I've also never gotten the invite.
Yeah.
So.
Heather.
Okay, back over here. So like Nick, like this is how Nick looks in person, and then but then you've got why is the camera still on Nick? What are you doing?
You told me to put,
Well,
did.
put it
the
back
camera-
on me. I didn't
that.
say
Yeah.
into
You said
perpetuity.
put it on Nick.
And I said put it back over here.
Okay, all right, that's on you.
But the funny thing is, this is the version you get of Nick in the podcaster in the real world. At Nick's house, he's like a barefooted teenager. Like he doesn't wear shoes. He's got a hat on backwards, and his feet. Like his feet are never on the ground.
You said
like
the
he
same
sits
thing
on the
about
couch
him as I
Indian
noticed.
style.
He sits on the couch Indian style. I noticed that too. He does do that.
It is.
I've never mentioned it, but it's the craziest
And you
thing.
go on vacation with Nick, you see this laid back version of him where you're like, oh, you got feet and like other clothes that don't look like Johnny
and not,
Cash's.
and not
wardrobe.
just jeans.
That's. I mean.
It is, dude. At his house, he's the most chill dude ever, though. He's just sitting there like petting his dog like a regular person.
Yeah.
Regular person. I
Put
think
my,
if there's-
my pants on with 2 feet at the
Yeah,
time.
same time, same time.
Put my jeans
One
on.
day though, I do just want somebody to hold one leg, and I just want to jump into him, just so I can say like, I don't do that shit like y'all motherfuckers. A ninja.
There
jump
was
into mine.
one pervasive thought, I think, through all of this for the last 6 months. It probably is happy wife, happy life, though.
For sure. I mean,
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
I mean, if we
That is
look, if
super.
we were just to make and send out marketing material, right, and this goes why homes are still selling, is more than
Yeah.
likely happy spouse, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, happy partner in that, and there's someone always driving it, and there's someone next to it if they're together. Like single women are buying properties. They're smarter than single men, for sure.
We did that,
That-
study.
yeah.
that
we didn't do
actually-
the study. We
Yeah.
found it on the internet.
That statistic has actually gone down just a little bit recently. So
Jesse
just throwing
keeps
that
up
out
with
Step it up, ladies.
So are single men buying more than single women, or just single female?
I think the
purchases are going up?
single female is going down just a little bit.
Single
Men are
females
still as
getting
dumb.
married again.
Yeah.
Women are just taking a break during the winter
they're,
months.
they're the smart ones. We all know that.
But ultimately, like, there's always someone that is driving that purchase or driving that sale, and the other person's like, bad time. No, we're not doing it. And then,
Or they're either no, we're not doing it, or they're like just okay, whatever.
yeah,
Like, because that would be me. It's like if you can find the right thing, like okay, like we'll go there.
We'll go there.
I just don't want to move any of our stuff.
yes,
Like here, I will move anywhere on this planet, as long as I don't have to move anywhere on this planet.
Yeah.
Like,
So-
1000%.
you put all my shit in a box, I'll go there.
I don't do this anymore. I have other shit I do, so I don't have time to do it.
people for
Call of Duty.
Yes, there's one time in my life. It was the most elitist feeling of my life, and nowadays it wouldn't be. But it was the first time
I
could
just feel like
hire-
that normally
No,
now.
it was the first time I could afford somebody
Pick that up.
to move my stuff. And for context, the first time I could afford somebody to move my stuff involved me from moving from one bedroom apartment to another one. It was about a half mile away. And one of my really good friends, Dustin Black, who owns Black Tie Moving, hooking me up. So I
Yeah.
really only had to tip his guys. So that's how I got it.
It's like a case of beer and like a
so I
$100
still
bill.
really couldn't afford it, right? So
and a
like
couple
that,
pizzas.
that was where I was at in life 13 years ago when the story takes place or whatever. But I felt so guilty because guys came in and moved my stuff, and they had to move my desk that I had my laptop on, and I was day trading from it, and I was just like tight, and I was like,
You're
all
like,
right.
move
And
this last.
I know, and I felt like such a. I lost money that day too. I'm pretty sure, by the way, but I just felt like such an asshole.
My mom
thank those
does
guys.
this. My mom does this thing where she has a lady come by just once a month just to reset the house. Right? Shouldn't have she's not saying
Yeah.
she has a housekeeper. She has a lady come by once a month just to like reset things. She pre-cleans before the lady comes over, though.
I do it.
Dude,
I'm the
See, but
exact.
that's me nowadays.
I'm the exact opposite.
No,
I'm
every
like,
time I move nowadays, I
cleaning day.
move half of my own shit now. I like doing it. And when our cleaners come, they're coming tomorrow, my shit will be spotless before they even walk in
See,
the door.
we do not have these because Victoria don't play that shit.
I don't know
But
why that is.
when I was still single and had all my own stuff, it'd be like 4 days leading up to it. I'd be like, I ain't touching shit.
He's like, it's Monday. I
coming
know
on
on
Thursday.
Thursday they're coming, right? Like, I can't do that.
Use
I need
every
my shit.
dish I own.
You can't talk about the Masters. What do you get as excited about as we get excited about the Masters?
I don't think there's anything other than like Cowboys like training camp because there's still possibility.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think
optimism
that's
is still there.
really it. Dude, I was such a sports idiot. If anybody who watches the show knew me in college, I was such an obnoxious moron about the Longhorns and the Cowboys that like I just kind of one day decided that I didn't like professional sports as much as I told everybody I did. And it was kind of a bit I was doing as a dude. And like if the Cowboys lost every game, I don't really care that much.
Same.
You know what I mean? Like I care because I want to be able to go rub it in everybody's face that they won. But like I don't care enough to have it rubbed in my face when they lose. So I'm like, I'm just not going to care at all.
I just think
Jesse Sankey.
then maybe
If
that's
you
the
ever
difference.
watched this in
That's
high
the
school,
different
he
thing.
brought me back.
I actually don't think the Masters is about sports. The Masters is about being with your friends.
And that might be because I will say here's the thing is if you talk to me what I like more, I would rather go to we talked about this at lunch today, the three of us.
Yeah.
I would rather go to the Byron Nelson with you four on a Friday and
It's this
wander.
Friday?
No, just a Friday.
It's May. It's May.
Okay,
We're
so
going.
what we got?
May 4th?
Right? I would rather do that than not say the Cowboys win the Super Bowl.
When is the Byron?
I don't know.
It's right now. No, it's
No,
11th through the
May 8th through the 14th.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So I'd rather Heather hook that up. By the way, I'd rather go to Friday at the Byron or the Colonial. I don't care.
Actually, Colonials.
I want a Friday at one of
We're
those ones.
going on a Friday.
And we go on a Friday. Like I would rather do that. That is how I enjoy watching sports now. Last Wednesday, us going to the baseball game and sitting there.
Yeah.
Like I jumped on when the Rangers schedule came out and looked for their one weekday day game, which they usually have a couple. They only had one this year.
Yeah.
And it was last Wednesday at 105, and we went.
Nope.
But
they got one against
you're
Detroit.
100.
You talk.
You're 100% correct on like the Masters in terms of look. You have your pure golf enthusiasts, right? So those people geek out on that. I wouldn't put myself as a pure golf enthusiast. What I liked is it's the nostalgia of going there. You go there, you can't bring your phone in. They check you on that, so there's no phones. So none of it. The lines to get in move better and more efficient than Chick-fil-A how they have their
Really?
setup. Yeah, I'm just telling you right now like dude, they do over
Do you get paper tickets still?
it's the it's like kind of like going to a real estate conference is that
Little like lanyard.
like
type
they give
deal?
you one then you go buy the lanyard in the shop.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
And so you go into the gift shop or you go in the pro shop,
Right.
And you spend a shit ton of money in there. I think they're selling like over $1 million a day, for that entire tournament, Monday through Sunday.
Yeah, and they broke that down by the day, the hour, and the minute, and it's just pure insanity.
It's insane. Then you go like beers are $5. So they only have beers, like no hard liquor.
Remember when we were watching on the TV and the guy bought like what would be $200
Yes.
worth of shit
Yeah,
for
it's
20
$20.
bucks?
Yeah.
So
That's insane.
So they've got pimento cheese sandwiches for
Yep.
$1.50.
Nice.
They've got
So out of curiosity, what did you do? What was your sandwich?
I like the pimento cheese.
Okay.
I just stick with that. And in the morning time they've got breakfast sandwiches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then you go walk around and you go and take it in. You go to Amen Corner. You go,
That'd be pretty cool. Hanging out on that.
The nostalgia being cool. I mean,
That second shot over the creek onto the
Yeah.
green, just sitting right
I'm a
there.
big baseball nerd, and I don't have any love one way or the other for the Yankees. But like when Brian and I go to the Yankees game, and I can watch the freaking Brooklyn train like running across the tracks in the outfield through this tiny little thing while I'm watching the New York Yankees play baseball. Like even though that's not even the stadium that existed 10 years ago,
Right.
much less the one that Babe Ruth played in, it's still cool, right? Like it's just because the area is cool. Like I I actually like that about sports more than anything
Yeah,
else,
yeah.
right? The oldness of it, the connection to like this past thing.
That's the thing.
That's
That
pretty
is the
cool.
masterpiece
I
of
know.
history.
And it's it's one of the hardest tickets to get.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
yeah, you had to.
Which is amazing. You've won the lottery 4 years in a row now?
No,
I
not
figured
in a
it.
row. Three out of 5
three
years.
out
I
of 5
figured out
years.
why. I figured out why.
Once you're in,
Nick.
you're in.
Yeah. No.
It's like getting audited.
Nick, tell him why.
No, I don't know why, Jesse.
I know
There's no
why.
secret. I have a group of guys. There's 4 of
Yeah,
us
he does.
that we all enter, and the agreement is if one of our 4 of us, one of the 4 wins it in the lotto, we have to take each other. Can't take anybody else. That's the agreement. And so far, 3 out of the 4 have won. 3 out of the past 5 years.
Crazy.
We have Monday. We won a Monday practice one. And by the way, when I go, I've only been to the practice rounds. I haven't been to the actual tournament yet.
That's why.
Okay, so
That's
you
why.
keep
Jesse shared
getting
that with us
chosen
today, how
for
different
the
that
For-
early shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for practice. Now, I started really nerding out to try to figure out how to, really how to learn how the ticketing system works on this, right? Because there's a VIP, and if you know me, like I really love VIP
You do?
experiences.
Dude, I love VIP.
And they've got this VIP ticket called Berkman Place tickets.
Okay.
And so Berkman Place though is you can't buy them.
No.
You have to.
Now Nick really
yeah,
wants it.
Yeah. Like
like,
you go
wait a
in
minute.
there.
It's like a Ferrari. You have to own one before you can buy one. It's like, how the fuck do I do that?
Yeah, they have special, they have their own special merchandise just for like their own Scotty Cameron putters in there and everything else.
Nick
And-
doesn't know movies, but he just threw out the word Scotty
Scotty
Cameron.
Scotty Cameron
putters.
putters are
Yeah.
wow.
I love my Scotty Cameron.
And the only
I
band
love
he can
Scotty.
name is Coldplay. That's crazy.
But you start. So I'm now trying to figure out how to get in there. Here's things I go. You want to know how I geek out on stuff? Is like I geeked out on the Murdoch trials. Like
you
I
did.
joined.
Yeah,
I joined all the Murdoch Facebook groups. I
Google the
started.
Berkman
I
place
started
real fast.
friend requesting the brothers of it. It just got weird. It just got weird.
really?
Right? But on this one,
I love Nick's bits.
on this one, it is a Berkman Place. So I go on Instagram. I start Googling Berkman Place tickets or Berkman Place passes, and I start seeing people who post them. So I just go DM them. I'm just sliding in dudes' DMs now, saying, "How did you get these?"
It's
passes?"
honestly how he's had everybody on this show. Is Nick just slides into people's
Slides
Instagram?
Yeah.
in.
feeds.
Yeah, man.
Got Tarek and Armando on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What is Berkman Place about? This is scroll down. It looks dope as hell.
Toughest ticket in sports.
What? So I want it. So I want it. And that's going to be my goal. So the next goal on it is, so they say a weekly badge
$6,000?
might, there's low a price of $6,000 for a weekly badge, but
As
you can't
low
buy
as
it.
$6,000.
But it says, but the hard part is
chump
getting the
change.
badge in the first place. There's no way for the general public to get them.
Yeah.
So a
This
lot
is
of
like
know
some skull
somebody
and bone stuff.
Who knows somebody?
Oh man, I love this.
Condoleezza Rice because she has Berkman.
Hey, she was there.
probably does.
She was right over by your hole on the par 3.
Yeah.
She's a golf.
This is how much
enthusiast.
Jesse
She's
watches. He knows where
She's
Condoleezza
a
Rice was in reference
Masters-
to you
She's
on a Wednesday.
the first
Okay.
female Masters member
Yes.
ever.
Yes.
Was she
ever.
also-
I did know that.
Okay, I don't want to get out of line on a real nationally broadcast live podcast. Was she also? No.
No, she
It would
wasn't.
have been earlier than
No,
that.
I know what you're saying.
It
and
would have
no.
been earlier than that.
No, she wasn't.
Okay.
I know what you're saying, and no, she wasn't.
Okay.
She's the first woman though.
Yes,
Yes.
first female.
I didn't
Yes.
know which came first because they have a history. Is all I'm trying
Oh
to say.
yeah,
do.
no,
No,
they
that's-
do
they
have a
do.
history.
Yeah.
It's Georgia.
Yeah.
I mean, what else would I say?
So, but I mean, that's the hardest ticket to get. That's my next goal, and then I'll get Thursday through Sunday.
Yep.
I'm going to complete the Monday through Sunday. I already have the flag. I'm going to take Asher because the players will sign the
Sign it.
flags
Oh, yeah.
for
Yeah.
the kids.
Yeah, there's a certain spot where you have to go
Yes,
to.
it's right by the driving range.
cool.
So
Yep.
you wait by the driving range. They'll come by and they'll sign it, and then I'll have the flag framed with the Monday through Sunday tickets. And
And
look,
he's gonna
I don't
sell
have,
it.
I don't have a lot of hobbies, so like for
does
me to
not.
go down that path, like
It's pretty cool.
It really does.
Yeah.
This
I
all
fucking
sounds
love it.
awesome. I mean, I'm gonna go to the Fort Worth Zoo on Sunday.
All right. Our goal for next year is get more lotto tickets.
Okay,
that we
so
get.
part of what I was saying is
motto.
the reason why their group
Right.
won it 3 out of the last 5 years is because Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday you can get 4 tickets for the group,
Right.
right, and then Thursday through Sunday, it's only 2 tickets.
You only get 2 tickets in the lotto.
Yeah.
Oh, so
So-
like half of your dudes can't go if you win.
Correct.
We'll just go.
And
Then
so-
what we'll do is we'll go buy the other 2 because
Well,
you can
oh,
buy
you
through,
can buy.
Yeah,
You
you
always
can.
buy them online
Yeah,
for
you
a
can
price
buy
of
'em.
outrageous
Yeah, you
price.
just,
yeah.
you just
You
need to go
split
through
the
a
cost.
ticket broker, and we'll just spread the cost out through
Yeah.
4.
Before you go
Gotcha.
for it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So less people apply on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Well, it's not apply.
Right.
It's not apply. You're not applying for days. You just
No, you do. You choose days
No, you
when you
don't.
select. Yeah.
Oh, I
I
don't
did.
think
I
we-
did.
Oh, we didn't.
He did.
I did.
I did choose
I
days
did
when I applied.
Thursday through Sunday.
That's what I chose.
That's why
I was like,
That's
I
why
need
y'all's
tournament
ass
tickets.
was
That's why I
sitting
never
there.
get fucking
I never
chosen.
get chosen.
But we won the lottery for the PGA Championship.
Yeah, we did.
And we won. And you came.
Yeah,
And you
And it was
came.
amazing.
and it was on a Sunday,
And Justin Thomas won.
and
got
we
Sunday
and
tickets.
we left.
Yeah.
And we had to leave early.
Yeah,
We had to
did.
leave early because someone had to get back.
Somebody had to
did.
get back.
I think that was Tom.
It wasn't
No,
me.
I think it was
don't know.
Diesel.
I think it was.
It wasn't me. It was Nick. I don't think
This
so.
is like-
I was
Real
flying
quick.
out the next day.
The
I'd
Masters.
love to contribute to this, but I wasn't
Jesse
invited.
actually
so-
has a banger for us today. Let's make it quick. This is a really good one. This is
Okay,
all I wanna do.
so he threw
Yeah,
it out. Okay, so he threw it out, and I
I
actually
showed
think
it to Matt. This is a good one.
He was really good. Okay. So, would you rather, this is an either or situation, have a gorilla attack you once a week and you're going to survive, but you don't know when the gorilla is going to attack you? Or have all of your thoughts broadcast?
Yeah.
For the people around you?
All of your thoughts happen out loud? Is that
Yeah,
what it is?
essentially all of your thoughts.
all of your thoughts, anything in your head actually happens in real life.
And here's the part about this that I feel like I'm gonna pick the gorilla because I might think about the gorilla attacking me and then it
That's
happens
the
to me in
thing.
real life anyway.
If you told me it's an either or, I might think about worse shit attacking you.
all of my thoughts coming to life is actually going to be super detrimental. Now,
Yeah.
the question I have though is, when the gorilla attacks me, is it like when the day, like is it Groundhog Day with like Bill Murray? I wake up the next day and I'm fine. Because if a gorilla attacks me every week, I'm going to be constantly in a hospital for the
That's
rest
what I
of
was
my
gonna
life.
say. And how bad are you? Like you say, you survive, but do we know how bad? Like
You might be limbless.
I think you have. I think you have like some sort of like physical trauma
If
that
we put-
you have to
I
recover
think-
from. but
Jesse
you
and I-
never know.
Jesse
If I've
and I
got to
broke
be
this
in the
down-
hospital
yeah.
every day, then I will
No.
just have my thoughts played
No,
out,
no,
and I'll
no.
learn how to control my shit.
Well, you might go to the hospital for a bit. Jesse and I broke this down
Yeah.
that the only way that it makes sense is that if a gorilla were to attack you, that he would only hurt you enough that if you went an entire 7 days, you would then be back to 100%.
but then you're just right
But
back
he
in the
might,
hospital on day
but
7.
he might attack you earlier the next time.
Yeah.
So some weeks you might end up in the hospital. Some weeks
mean,
you might get full
I think
recovery.
I'm just going to let my brain happen and just own it.
that's the problem,
So
right?
think
Like-
about this. You're just at home, just chilling at home. You jump in the shower. You're like, this is gonna be a great day. Here we go. You're gonna jump in the shower.
I feel like
and
I'm being
then
Bam
your
Margera
door-
with his
your
dad.
door rips open.
That's exactly what I imagine.
No.
I'm just like chilling on the couch, and Bam rockets in off of
That's
a
what I'm saying.
4-wheeler, starts beating
But
my
the
ass.
worst that we thought about was like if on the weeks where you get to like 6 days and 12 hours, you're
Yeah.
just like, I just know.
You have this
and
anxiety.
you're just walking around, and then it just happens to be where you had like a fucking date night with your friends. You're like, I just know I'm about to get my ass beat by a gorilla in front of everybody.
But
I
wouldn't it be
know I'm
funny-
running out of time.
You walk out
and a fucking gorilla is gonna show up to Mexican bar company and beat the shit out of me.
Yeah, you're
And
taking
I
it like
just
we're
know
home.
it.
Just imagine we're just in New York where you know nobody. You just met some new people. You're down those last few hours. You're standing outside of a
Yes.
bar. You made new friends. You're like, man, it was so
It was
great
so-
to meet you. All of a sudden, from around an alleyway, a gorilla just runs out, fucking clubs the shit out of your ass, and then runs off. And you're like, sorry, guys, that happens once a week.
You're trying to escape and it doesn't work.
have you not seen Family Guy? This happens on Family Guy
the
with
chicken.
chicken.
With the
It's
chicken.
the gorilla Peter. Yes.
But it's
All of a sudden, Peter
man.
stops talking. There's the chicken, and he
The
leaves the
chicken.
group.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Imagine if you were single and you're like, can you go out on Saturday? Like, I can't.
I can't, dude.
I don't think I can go out on Saturday.
I got an ass whipping
Unless
coming my way.
Some shit happens on Thursday. I definitely can't go out on Saturday. Just
It's gonna be Friday or Saturday.
I think
I don't know which one
think
yet.
we've answered it. The thought bubble.
I would. No, I would still choose the gorilla.
No, I wouldn't.
I would have to.
Oh man.
no.
Think.
No,
Okay.
no.
I would rather
Think
rather
about-
have my mind out there and then I just adjust who I am as a person and fill my world with
Yes.
people
Yeah.
who understand that I'm a degenerate as opposed to getting my ass beat by a gorilla every 7 days.
Paul came into this conversation a little late.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks,
Paul.
Yeah, no, we enjoy
H
it.
is this?
I just feel like
hold on for
Fast
Paul.
forward to minute
Re-explain
7.
for Paul
If-
what the question
Okay.
was.
Okay, so you either have to have your thoughts displayed for the public, or
Every day.
every thought, every second of every day.
Everything goes out there.
Or a gorilla attacks you once a week, but you don't know when it's going to attack you. You're going to live, but it's going to wholesale beat your ass.
what if you worked in the corporate world?
He said, where's Jesse? He's behind the camera
I'm
starting all of
I'm
this.
behind the camera, Paul. It's
I
okay.
think-
What if you're just a fucking like accountant and just like and it wouldn't line up that it would be at work all the time. So it would be like once every 3 months he might catch you at work, and like this would be like every 3 months this gorilla just comes and beat the fuck out of us, dude.
I just had this
and
funny
he never tells us about it. I don't know what we're doing.
I just
here.
had this funny version of the gorilla. Like the gorilla almost like this Bam Margera thing is stuck in my head. Because I want the gorilla to be indifferent to it the second he does it.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was the thing
That's
about
how
Bam
it goes
beating
in my
Phil's
head.
ass.
Yes.
Was he would run and he'd beat Phil's ass and then he'd be like breathing
Yes.
hard but acting like a normal person.
Yep.
I want the gorilla to act just like that. I want him to run into my office cubicle. I want him to beat my ass, tear my shirt up, break my computer, spill my water, and then run out. And then I'm looking around trying to explain to everybody why I look like a disheveled mess. And I'm like, sorry guys, he just does this.
What would be exactly how I picture my head? Is he's detached from the entire thing, and then over time, what would happen? People would get weirded out that you're no longer running away because this is the first time that they've seen it. You'd be in church in the pew, and he'd come barreling down the aisle, and everybody just see you go like, oh.
Okay, so
And like
take
they
it,
would be like, "Why didn't he try to run?" He'd be like, "It doesn't work. Trust me."
take it back to real estate. You're sitting at closing with clients.
Exactly. Or like you're so
Heather would be
immune
so
to
mad
it at this
to be
point that you just take your beating. You're not even trying to escape anymore. And no one else who's never seen this understands why you're not trying to
Jess,
escape.
hold
You can
on.
make it part of your buyer and listing presentation.
No,
Just
Jesse.
be like, "Okay, guys,
The problem is, Jesse, you're at the closing, so you've already won. It's more the
true.
listing
That's
appointment.
true. Oh, yeah.
And as a future potential
Imagine
client, do you?
DB doing one of his fucking client review videos. And the gorilla comes in and just starts beating his ass.
I mean, look, I'm telling you right now, the thought bubbles. The thought bubbles.
You're like showing first time buyers and they fall in love with this house. You've shown them like 30 houses. They fall in love with this house. You go in to show them the backyard. And you're like, it's a pretty good size. This fucking gorilla just comes barreling around the side of the house.
Do you think you?
It just, it just starches you for like.
Oh my god!
You know what we could do? I think we look. I think you act that one out. We take Jesse. Jesse records it like so. Kelderman goes on showings. I'll dress up in a gorilla suit. And then I bust through there and I just whoop Kelderman's ass as the gorilla. Jesse records it. Let's see how the clients.
I just pick my glasses up off the ground and be like, sorry guys.
Oh, jeez. Every Thursday.
So compared to the last house, how much do you like this one?
That would be. Look,
Oh my god! I'm 100% in on this,
Yeah.
and I will. You can be brand new clients who will leave me. I don't even care. Like, just do
This
it.
would be fucking hysterical.
who can send a gorilla suit?
I would love it. Somebody
Who
send
do we
us.
know?
I'm 6'3".
We're gonna put this out to our network. I think it's big enough. Send us a gorilla
Oh,
suit,
my God.
and we will do a bit.
If we haven't proven to you guys over 4 years, we'll do whatever. Then you just aren't paying attention.
100%. So
Let's get outta
you know
here.
what's not a bit is Mortgage Mike.
Not at all.
He's not doing any bits.
No
right?
bits.
He's just
No-
giving
no
those
gorilla
stamps
suits or
of
anything.
approvals, right? So he's giving that money away. His rates are good.
Great,
Yes.
phenomenal.
There you go. That's what we're looking for.
Best
Those
thing
Nick,
rates
for the
are-
realist, his rates are good.
Well, I was waiting for you to jump in and say great. Like I want,
I love
so-
it, dude.
Yeah.
He's give it to you.
So
normal.
that mortgagemikeoftexas.com, just go over there, tell them you want that Mortgage Mike stamp of approval, and then write up your offer with a Armadillo home warranty, right? So that's what I did with my clients. I made sure to get that in there, so they're going to get that hard shell protection when they
Same.
close. Armadillo.1/tour or / because we had a whole conversation about that. One
One of the slashes.
the
Just figure it
normal
out.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if not, if you
I'm
don't do
pretty
/
sure
tour,
he likes /.
yeah.
So
I would say just go to Theron Smith and tell him that anybody you send him, it's because of this show.
yeah.
Tore, Tore. And then if you're an investor, if you're representing investors, you want to get into the investment game and own rental properties, you're going to want to have the best property management company manage that for you because, look, it's leverage. Time is money, right? So you want someone to go do that work for you. Look, Brian just talked about being an elitist, right? So let's go ahead and make sure to go and use that property management company and feel like Brian did when he hired those movers.
I did.
Yeah.
Didn't have to lift a finger.
So go to Homeward DFW. Is it homewarddfw.com?
Yes.
homewarddfw.com. And leave us a review, I guess.
Yeah, do something.
That's
If you want to,
solid 16.5 stars.
16 and a half.
Yeah, just leave us a review. Go on there, figure out where to leave us. Comment on the thing at Facebook. Join our Facebook group. We don't even promote that anymore.
We don't.
No,
you guys
we
should
don't.
go there.
Only
Yeah.
real estate group worth being a part of?
Yes.
Yeah. That's
that's
it.
the
Yeah,
name.
that's the only one.
I still monitor it. And if you want to know who not to use for things, like hit us up on the side. We'll
You know
tell
what
Yeah.
I'll tell you really quick is I tried
Slide
to buy
into the
I tried to
DMs.
buy a Facebook group today.
What?
No, you can't do that anymore, can you?
I mean, he was going to sell it to me. He had
Do you guys
70,000
remember
members.
this?
Yeah, all you got to do is
Okay.
just hand over the admin.
Yeah, but
The
do you,
login.
do you guys remember this with groups? Or not groups, pages? Remember they shut that down?
Yeah.
Did you remember why?
No.
Oh, you don't remember why they stopped letting you sell pages? Jesse remembers this probably.
I do.
There were
Look at
so
this.
many pages.
Slow this up.
Oh, here we go.
Thanks, Facebook user.
Yeah, but see, I don't remember what the URL looks like. Oh, it's / Regardless.
Yeah.
Do you guys used to remember the pages on Facebook that were all like, you've got to like this page because this child has cancer and I'll give you 5 prayers if you like, and then they would sell the page.
TikTok be doing that now.
That's
Yeah.
why they stopped doing it.
By the way, we missed that one.
We should wear costumes at some point. That'd be
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. But no, this was a legit group. You know, it's been around for a long time, and this dude was moving to Arkansas, and so I was like, ooh. And
It was an Arkansas group?
no, it's a Denton group.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, he put it up. I was like, screw it, let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
You do it on Marketplace or what?
I don't remember. I think he posted it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So,
That's nice.
yeah. Go leave us a 5-star review. Let us know if you've bought a Facebook group.
Yeah.
The guy that usually ends this show just went to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So I guess we gotta stay. Or
I don't even know what to do now.
I think we say, is it Brian? Get us out of here.
Someone get us out of here?
Jesse?
Jesse?
Yeah,
Jesse?
I don't
Get us out
know.
of here?
Yeah.
Let's go.
See you next week.
Thanks for watching the show today. Make sure if you're watching this on Facebook, you head over to our group, the only real estate group worth being a part of, so you can watch the extended conversation. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And if you listen on the Apple Podcast, leave us a review. We'd really like it. So just do it. Do it. Do that over there. Go to this one. Then go to that one. Thanks.